How much you prepared?
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the November 11th, 2019 Westminster City Council. And there are two council meetings tonight, so this one will be the longest of the two, I hope. And that we will conduct business with the currently seated council at 8 p.m. We will reconvene under the new council and swear in 3 new council members, or 1 repeat and 2 new. So we ask you to please stick around. There is a reception outside, I think, as soon as we can wrap up business here. And with that, I will ask you all please to rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Ms. Fitch, if you would, please. Or Ms. Parker, whichever one of the two of you.
We like to keep you guessing. Atchison.
Here.
DeMott.
Here.
Haney. Here. Mankey. Here. Seitz.
Here.
Scully. Bowles.
Here.
Council, before you are the minutes of the October 28th meeting. If I could have a motion, please. Ms. Scully?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of the minutes being published as written, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is presentations. We have a couple of presentations. Ms. Scully, if you would, please.
Each year since 1975, the week before Thanksgiving is designated as National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week. And I am privileged to read this proclamation tonight. Can I have Kate Scarba come and stand next to me? I thought I saw her. Yes, I did. And the Adams County Coalition for Homelessness, if anyone is here. Jefferson County Heading Home. 2020 class of Leadership, Jefferson County. You would all come join me up front. And anyone else who works on homelessness in the community that would like to come and be a part of this proclamation, I invite you to join us tonight. Excellent. What a great group. I'd like to have each of you introduce yourself. So let's start at this end.
I'm Dorothy Marshall, and I volunteer with Growing Home and outreach with the community of
I'm Kathy Ratliff with Family Tree Homelessness Program. I'm Kelly Barker with Jefferson County. I'm Kate Scarbeck with the City of Westminster.
Linda Berger. I'm working with Heading Home in Jefferson County and Adams County Coalition at Adams County.
I'm Karen Foxell, the CEO of Growing Home.
My name's Mike McKelvey. I'm the Executive Director of Cold Weather Care.
I'm Katie Winter, and I'm a member of the Leadership Jefferson County Class of 2020.
I'm Karen Breyer, Executive Director of the Action Center.
I'm Bill Junt, Director of
Thank you for joining me up here today. This week is co-sponsored by the National Coalition for the Homeless and the National Student Campaign Against Hunger and Homelessness to further goals of reducing hunger and homelessness among children, seniors, and adults. Kate, is there anything you'd like to kind of say special about this week?
It's simply intended to be a week to highlight the fact that many of our community members are in need and that we've got a lot of great resources and willing people working across the community to help meet that need. This is a large-scale sampling of what's available in Adams and Jefferson County.
So nearly 1 in 11 Coloradoans, or 9.1%, struggle with hunger. Nearly 1 in 8 Colorado children, or 12%, struggle with hunger. During the 2017-2018 school year, Adams County school districts identified 3,992 students under the federal McKinney-Vento Act as being housing insecure and or homeless. Similarly, Jefferson County Public Schools identified 3,315 such students. The two counties have more than 29% of the state's homeless students. Westminster has 1,000 pre-kindergarten through 12th grade students meeting the U.S. Department of Education's definition of homelessness. I think it's fair to say we need to do better. But what I will say is Westminster has this as a strategic priority. We work on this. This is important to us here in our city. So Westminster proudly plays several roles supporting the city's strategic plan goals of vibrant, inclusive, and engaged community by being a leader in regional collaboration to ensure equitable outcomes for all community members, alleviating hunger and homelessness through the Human Services Board, where we award $125,000 worth of grants to various entities that serve our homeless and housing or homeless populations. Partnering with the Westminster Public Schools to offer free summer lunch programs at city facilities. Working with Growing Home and the Crossing Church, doubling the Community Development Block Grant, and opening 144 affordable housing units as a part of 2 different developments designed to ensure that housing is available for all income levels in our city. Several providers of those who are homeless meet regularly in both counties, such as our Jefferson County Economic Council, to determine how to better serve those who are homeless, or ideally to prevent homelessness from even occurring, because that is truly how we end homelessness. So I would like to remind you that if you would like to contribute or help community members who are in need of assistance, you are urged to contact the Mile High United Ways. Just dial 211 and go ahead and ask for help. Or you can call Hunger Free Colorado. I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation. Whereas the City of Westminster is committed to ensuring every member of our community achieves their full potential because our well-being as individuals and as a community is built over time by a team of people and partners. And whereas National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is held each year the week before Thanksgiving, serving as an important reminder that for many children, families, seniors, veterans, and others in the City of Westminster, a lack of food or a safe, stable place to call home are preventing them from reaching their full potential. And whereas there are many organizations committed to sheltering and providing supportive services, as well as meals and food supplies to people experiencing homelessness, including all the partners and work groups of the Adams County Coalition for the Homeless, Jefferson County Heading Home, the Metro Denver Homeless Initiative, as well as food banks and churches providing community suppers. And whereas the City of Westminster and its partners are committed to building well-being by implementing public policy initiatives and encouraging all Coloradoans to lend a hand so the City of Westminster can be a city where everyone has a safe place to call home and enough food to eat. And now, therefore, I, Herb Atchison, Mayor of the City of Westminster, on behalf of the entire City Council and staff, do hereby proclaim November 16th through 24th as National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week, and call upon the people of Westminster to speak up, work with, and donate to nonprofits, including food banks throughout the region and in Adams and Jefferson counties, to commit to making homelessness and hunger history within our community. Signed this 11th day of November 2019, Herb Atchison, Mayor.
Karen and Pam. One representative from Adams, one from Jeffco. Let's go closer, or are we good?
You're good.
Thank you guys for all the work you guys do in helping us deal with this issue that unfortunately is a part of our city and that of everybody else in the metro area. Ms. Haney, you and Ms. Mankey, please come down and join us.
I was thinking, what did I do this time? Yes, sir.
Try to just stand.
Stand, okay.
As you know, tonight we will be bringing in 2 new council members. But first of all, I wanted to recognize both Michelle and Sheila for the time they put in this year. Walking into a fire hose of things that are going on, the amount of time that they have put in, helping us get through this period of time till we got to the election. Thank them most for their service and what they have provided to us. Give each of you a short opportunity. If you have anything you'd like to say, or you can wait till the comments come up in a few minutes. But we do want to recognize the service you have provided to each of us. Ms. Mankey, I believe this one is yours. And Ms. Haney. And I will promise you neither one of you have these. And we expect to see it prominently displayed at least somewhere everybody can find them. So if you'd like to, please go ahead and open them.
Oh, open it.
Yeah.
Is that our pictures off the wall? Okay.
Well, we might arrange to give those to you as well. And it's okay, you can tear the paper. This is not like Christmas.
Look, you guys.
On behalf of myself and the council, the city employees, and the city staff, thank you very much for your service this past year. You will be missed,
Thank you
but
very
we
much.
expect you to stay involved.
You'll see us around.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again. Next time on our agenda will be the item that we typically refer to as public comment. This is a period of time when individuals who have signed up and some who may have forgotten to are allowed to come forward at the podium. You have up to 5 minutes for any item you wish to bring up. From the time you identify yourself and you start, we will time you. You have 5 minutes, no more. Yellow light will come on to let you know that you've about used your time. You have 1 minute left, and when the red light comes on, your time is up. So I have the first person up is Miss Linda Grable.
Hello, my name is Linda Grable. I'm a citizen of Westminster, Colorado, and I want to address our council, our mayor, and city staff. All I want today to ask of you is your ears, because this is a wrap-up of a wonderful year, and I just want to bring thank yous, because this is a month of giving thanks. It's a wonderful opportunity. I am representing the Westminster Historical Society, and we've been around since 1962. Some of you are not much older than that. I look at you. And we're a museum dedicated to Westminster and the surrounding communities. Our major functions are to discover and collect any material which may help to establish or illustrate the history of this area. We also collect museum materials such as pictures and photographs, on and on and on. I know the mayor wants me to hurry. And then provide for the preservation of such material and for its supervised accessibility to the community and for educational purposes. We are built upon a whole network of volunteers that are invaluable to us, but we always welcome more. We have a database of over 13,000 pictures and documents that are accessible online for the community. And we also have a new interactive ESRI storybook available where you can look up annexations in Westminster, historic sites of Westminster, the historic 1895 Willets Farm map, and we're working on schools of Westminster, both those that are historic and the present ones. Our monthly newsletter reaches to over 450 households, either by mail or digitally. And if none of you are getting it, or some of you want some, all you have to do is contact us and we'll email it to you free. Now, we have over 9 major events that we have done this year that we want to talk about briefly. Paint and Sip, a Westminster Castle tour. Now, the Westminster Castle has become an issue because we have a new lawyer up there, and we're having to go through more hoops to prove that we have enough insurance. In case anybody that comes on our tour, and that includes, I asked about city people. They said, oh, you have to get special permission, and you have to have, $1 million coverage per person per event and all this. So we're working hard on this so we can get the community back in there. We also did a preservation award, vintage baseball, and we won this year. The annual Not for Ladies Only tea, which is lots of fun. And coming up is Hometown Christmas and Victorian Christmas. And we have a flyer on that and also a flyer of upcoming events. And numerous tours at both the Museum and History Center, as well as booths that the city has provided at the city events. So we want to give a hearty thank you to the City of Westminster staff and council for making all this possible this year by providing the Bowles House Museum building and office buildings and partnering with us on various projects. We have a valued connection with our community. So I like to look up and see what the city's philosophy is, and I noticed that the mission statement of Spirit fits what our beliefs are too and what we like to practice. So in the Spirit for S, we have service that delivers exceptional value and quality of life to Westminster. Now, some of you have already approached me. You're wondering why I'm talking about life when I like to talk about dead people. But the quality of life in Westminster is founded on all the people that came here and eventually died. The history of this section, people that really did sacrifice. Also, we have pride in our glorious history. We have integrity in keeping truthful records. We have the responsibility in enthusiastically representing our city. We have innovation in updating our methods. Yes, you can teach old dogs new tricks. And we also have a sense of teamwork with all who are interested in learning more about our city. This is our historic society. We bring history to life, even with the dead people. So I want you to notice real quickly, we're having the special Hometown Christmas. And if you've paid attention to the news, you know that there's a little conflict of interest with Kremlin, who they say they have the tallest living lit Christmas tree. But we definitely have the tallest living lit Christmas tree. So please come out and support that while we still have the tallest living lit Christmas tree. Thank you so much.
Hello, good evening, Mayor Atchison, members of council. My name is Katie Winter. I'm a resident of Arvada and a part of the Leadership Jefferson County class of 2020. I'm here tonight to thank you so very much for issuing your resolution and proclamation of support for Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. When our Leadership Jefferson County class of 2020 came together, one of the first things we talked about as part of our community impact project was, what can we do about hunger and homelessness? It's all too often a question many in our community ask because we're all too unaware of the efforts and actions people like you are taking on a daily basis. It's one of the things that we say, but I can see it, so nothing must be done about it. And we know that's just not true. So one of the things about we chose to do with our community impact project was to rise up the organizations that are already doing something. People like yourself that are enacting great policies. We're going to need more strong leaders like you in the future to make strong actions to help solve this problem for once and for all. For when the city of Westminster creates the solution, you're sure to share it with all of your friends across the region and across the USA, and we'll never have to see this problem again. During Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, the Action Center has chosen to partner with Jefferson County Schools to work on a change drive, Change for Change, encouraging our schools and communities to give that change to help our students and families break out of the 2-cycle steps of poverty. They are also attempting to break a world record. If you're able to help gather 10,587 pairs of new socks on December 4th from 12 to noon, there'll be an attempt to break the world record for most socks gathered in one day. Could be kind of fun. And also think about all of these great organizations that you've lifted up tonight as we all get ready for Colorado Gives Day on December 10th. There's never a time you need to wait to give your time, your talent, or your treasury to help all these great organizations that you have proclaimed and you have acknowledged today. Thank you for your service to the citizens in the city of Westminster, and it was a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
My name is Kurt Frenzel. I'm a police officer with the City of Westminster. I've been a police officer for 25 years. And what I wanted to do tonight was thank you for the support you've given the police department. All counselors, past and present. Later this month, I'll be sworn in as the FOP Lodge 25 president. And again, it's been very important to extend our gratitude to you. Thank you for the FPPA pension that we got a few years back. That's been a huge success. Thank you. Thank you for keeping our salaries competitive. Thank you very much. It's been a huge success. Don Tripp, Jody Andrews, Chief Carlson, and his management staff, thank you. Thank you.
Brett Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Brett Terry. I'm here with Friends of Stanley Lake. Talk a little bit about an update on restoring trailered boating to Stanley Lake, hopefully for the 2020 season. Last few weeks have been a little bit disappointing. We've not made much progress, and we're starting to get into vacation seasons, and it's very difficult to keep things moving forward with any sense of urgency. From my perspective, you know, the Friends of Stanley Lake came forward 8 some months ago. We've been together and sound since then. Continue to bring solutions to the people that we're told to go work with in terms of implementing any new solutions at the lake for 2020. We were hoping to get 2019. That didn't happen. Unfortunately, I sit here now, we're in the middle of November. We are going as slow as you can humanly go. It's unbelievable. It takes weeks for us to get something ordered. It takes another weeks to get something vetted. And then when it comes to us, we say, well, you know, that's not going to work. A physical solution is never going to be accepted. We're starting to feel like it's just become a runaround, right? We're working wholeheartedly. We brought every single solution that's in front of the tagging committee today. Every single one of them came from Friends of Stanley Lake. Not a single one came from anybody in the city. Through-hole tagging, no-key locks, RFID tags, physical tags that replaced the ones that we used for 12 years, never made them any better, yet they're not acceptable anymore. All these new solutions are being brushed under the rug. It feels like to us that we are being given a slow road, a slow boat to no decision, and 2020 is at risk at this point in time. And it's not because there's no solutions. It's because there's one group working on a forward-looking solution, another group that it's perfectly acceptable to say, well, we won't accept a physical solution. We won't accept that. We won't get the software until, so we won't buy that. This is really becoming pretty frustrating. The boating community continues to hit me an email every single week. What can we do? What should we do? I believe the right thing to do is to work with the city. We've been trying to do that now for 8 months, and it's ridiculously slow, and we've made nearly no progress towards a 2020 solution. I fear that we're going to get tagging and all these things done and find out we don't have a boating agreement. Hasn't been started and vetted through city council, or city staff in terms of legal. We got a lot of work to do. If we're going to make this happen, we have to work together, and we have to work with some sense of urgency. I get it during the summer. The rangers have got stuff to do. Lake's been shut down for 2 months. I thought we were going to speed up, not slow down. What we've done is slowed down. We can't keep doing this or we won't get to 2020. Such a sad place to be. 8 months is a forever time. If the jail, people were breaking out of the jails, I don't think we'd shut the jail down. We would huddle up dang fast and we'd figure out how to make that jail safe and secure. I know we would. People have an accident. We look at traffic lights and try and figure out how to make those better right now, pronto. Okay, that's not the way the Stanley Lake resource is being managed. It was managed, frankly, pretty open loop for 12 years, no improvements. Implemented a system, said, yep, that's good enough, we're the best in the world, and guess what, we weren't. Thank God that didn't cost us our resource, but it did cost us a resource now. I wish that we could get together and make this thing work. A solution can be made, but only if both sides want to work on it. One side has all the power now to just say, we don't like that, or tags aren't going to work. We go out 2 days later and find RFID tags when that news was brought to us. We have to work together, or all we keep doing is Friends of Stanley Lake come up with more solutions. The city puts the stall tag on them, and 2020 will not be a year we'll be boating at Stanley Lake. So sad, so sad. Very frustrating. Sorry to bring you guys that news.
This time, is there anyone who did not get a chance to sign up before we close the list that still would like to come forward with comments? Okay. Moving on to the next item, report of city officials. Mr. Tripp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For this part of the evening, I just have one thing I'd like to say, and it's on behalf of, we have about 1,100 benefited employees who work in the 11 departments and deliver the service in multiple lines of business, I guess you'd say. In our values and our mission to provide high quality of life in our city, these are outstanding people. On behalf of them and the 800 or so part-time folks that we have, I want to thank Councilor Sheila Mankey and Michelle Haney for your service over the course of what is really a relatively short period of time, but has been a very eventful period of time. The last 10, 11 months or so have been remarkable. We've seen extraordinary advancement of our city on so many fronts, in public policy and in service to our community, in taking head-on problems and issues and challenges, in many, many things that I could spend a long time reporting on, but I'd really rather say, you've served with extraordinary servant leadership and humility, and you're two so very kind but very strong and smart people. We're going to miss you very much. We're fortunate, to have people step up to volunteer to be on boards and commissions, and you went through a rigorous process to be appointed with an awful large number of highly qualified people. And so I just want to thank you for stepping forward and then for running a campaign, which I know can be really difficult. I just can't thank you anymore, and I really want you to know that the employees so respect how you served our city over the course of almost the past year.
Council, any comments? And I'll start with our two outgoing and let you have the floor.
Give me a mic and, stand back. Anyway, this is a special day. Not only can I say thank you, but it's also Veterans Day. And I, being a military brat, I want to salute all of you who have served our country, and those of you who've had family members also serving our country. That is very near and dear to my heart. But But I want to thank you all for allowing me the honor of sitting in this seat, and it has been an honor. I can't tell you how many nights I went home thinking, oh my gosh, the decisions that we're making here affect thousands of people, and that weighs heavy on my heart. So I know that the new people stepping up will have an opportunity to work with great staff who are tremendously professional, who are there to help and answer all the questions. And let me tell you, there's always a learning curve when you step up into these positions. So, I would share with them to rely on the staff and Don and the mayor and the other city councilors who have experience, ask the questions, learn a lot, participate. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. So thank you very, very much for letting me learn a lot about the city behind the scenes. And having been here for 26 years in this community, it's amazing what you can learn that you never knew that was happening. So thank you all. You do a great job of being citizens. Thank you for coming to City Council to participate. And again, it's been my honor. So I'm around. I'll be there to do anything I can to help in the future. Sheila?
Ms. Mankey.
Thank you. First, I just want to say thank you to Kate Scarbeck and all the other members of the community that came up today who have been working on homelessness in our community and who are recipient of the proclamation. They're doing an amazing job to address a problem that's really challenging and that we do really need to do all work to do better on. I do want to take a moment to thank everyone who has helped me this past year. It has been an honor as well for myself to serve the people of Westminster. Thank you to all those who believed in me and supported me. A special thank you to all those who donated their time and resources to my campaign. I could not have done any of it without your hard work and support. I also want to thank the mayor and the current council. It has really been a pleasure to work alongside each and every one of you. Thank you to Don Tripp, Dave Frankel, and the City Manager's Office staff for helping me learn a huge amount in a short time so that I was well equipped as a council member. Thank you to all the city staff who sat down with me, talked with me, taught me, and shared their expertise with me. It is my pleasure to get to know you and to work alongside you. Lastly, thank you to the residents of Westminster for your love of this city and your engagement in local government. I have truly enjoyed serving you. Before serving on council, I served on the Environmental Advisory Board, and my interest in protecting parks and open spaces, our clean air and water were the motivation for me to step forward and apply for a seat on council. As I spoke with residents the last several months, I felt that this was a value shared by many of the people of Westminster. I hope that the current council will continue to work on these issues. As a pediatrician, it's my job to advocate for those who often do not have a voice and those who do not get to vote, and that's our children. So I hope that you too will be able to keep in mind that your decisions today will impact generations to come. Being on council has been both very challenging and very rewarding. I wish the new council members, Lindsay Smith and Rich Seymour, all the best. Thank you very much.
Sites.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Today has been a day that I think most of us probably reflected on service. It's Veterans Day, and so many of us have members of our family or our friends network or just people we know in the community that chose to protect our freedoms. And so we thank you to them. But all of you had a glimpse tonight as to how lucky I am to serve in this office. Just tonight we've had before us nonprofits that are working on homelessness, members of our boards and commission. We have members of our EAB in the room tonight. A community member who is so passionate about history, she is going to proselytize to us about the importance of it every chance she gets. We had a member of our FOP coming to talk about public safety. So many people are called to service in many different ways to share their time and their talent. Clearly tonight, I want to focus on two individuals that are to my right that prior to ever stepping foot on Westminster City Council's dais, they already had contributed so much to this community. Michelle has a body of work, volunteer work and professional work that has made this community better. Anyone who has enjoyed the College Hills Library has benefited from her vision, her stewardship, and her tenacity. She helped spearhead that project with Front Range Community College in the city. Sheila has worked with children in our community as a pediatrician at a nonprofit clinic. Both of these women wanted to expand their impact on the community by serving in public office, and every single person in this room benefited from their leadership during the period of time I have been fortunate to work with them. I have found them both to be inspiring, strong, brave. They lead with integrity, intelligence, and humor. It has been an absolute pleasure. I am a better counselor from having worked with them, and I appreciate the service that they've provided. I'm not going to continue working with them in this capacity, but I have no doubt that the election results did not diminish their desire to continue to serve residents every way they can. And I look forward to the ways that you'll work in the future. Hope to continue to stay in contact, and please let us know when you think of ways that Westminster residents can benefit. Thank you.
Other comments from council? Mr. DeMont?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to also echo and thank any people who have served in the military. The liberty that this country has is due to those folks that are willing to risk it all in order to protect those things. Gandhi said, the best way you find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. I've had the honor to be able to serve on this council for the last 2 years, and I've met many people who have both run for this office and served in this office. The two colleagues of mine who are leaving, I think that I've learned a lot from them. I think they're great people. I think everybody that that sits up here has the same end goal. We don't always have the same idea of how we get to that end goal, but I do think that everybody up here thinks that a great quality of life in Westminster is why they serve. And so I would like to thank you both for serving in this capacity, for both stepping up in a very crowded pool of people who wanted an appointment, as well as running a campaign, because I know it's no easy task. So thank you both for your service.
Other comments from council? To Cynthia Quill is a very nice lady down at Flynn Elementary, if you haven't had a chance to meet her. So today was Veterans Day, as many of you have heard and seen. And Flynn Elementary has, for the last 19 years, set aside this morning for Veterans Day each year. They expect to have a bigger celebration, but 400 students from the school were in the gym participating in honoring veterans this morning. After the ceremony this morning, all the veterans went to Chancho's for a free lunch. But what I would tell you is the amount of service that we saw and the number of veterans sitting around the table from all walks of life, from each branch of service. Could have not been a better pleasure to go down and watch that this morning. I've been very fortunate for about 10 years now to be able to go down to that ceremony, and it's getting better every year. My biggest fear is Cynthia's going to retire, because she does such a piece of this, and it's such a part of her heart to honor our veterans each year, to make sure they get recognized. Unfortunately, we don't see that everywhere, but we do take the opportunity. So all of you in the audience who are past military members, I know there are a bunch here. I especially thank you on behalf of the council and the city of Westminster for the services you provided to us. For those who have family in the military today serving, thank you and your family for their service as well. To my two colleagues, Michelle and I have known each other for a very long time, since she was originally part of the library board, which, as Anita talked about, created College Hill Library. But she was also one of the very first citizens that was on the police review board. That goes back several police chiefs, and has been involved with the city for just a lot of time. But she also is involved from us in trying to create the opportunities for people to get an education. As the president of Red Rocks, I have seen her take children aside that probably had no opportunity to go to school after high school. She's been able to work to get them into the education system to get them an education, and many times at no cost to them. To Sheila, I thank her for the service that she does and provides to the children that she sees, to the families that she helps support, and for the time that she has been a board member here in the city. But for both of them, walking into a fire hose that just has no end for the last year, basically, and to make a transition from having not served on a board like this, and not being involved in a lot of the decision process, the amount of homework that they have done. Every Wednesday night, they get the little package. Little package is sometimes 1,500, 2,000 pages. You have to be prepared to act on the following Monday. I cannot think of two nicer people that have done that work for us for the past year. And I ask you at this time to please thank them. Just remember, there will be cookies and other things to partake of as soon as we get out of here. All right, moving on to our next item is the consent agenda. It's a group of routine matters to be acted on with a single motion and vote. We have reviewed this at the pre-meeting. No council member asked for any item to be removed. So at this time, Mr. DeMott, if you will, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the city council adopt consent agenda items 8A through 8C.
Ms. Scully.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote with your buttons. And wonderfully, it passes on a 7-0 vote. We have no appointments or resignations tonight. The only remaining piece of business is there is an amendment for the employment agreement with presiding judge. Mr. DeMott, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to authorize the mayor to execute and amend an employment agreement with Tiffany Source for her services as presiding municipal judge for 2020 with an effective date of January 1, 2020, and an automatic renewal for 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024 unless terminated pursuant to the terms of the agreement.
Ms. Scully.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any comments or questions from council? Seeing none, ladies and gentlemen, this is also a vote with your buttons. Motion passes on a 7-0 vote. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the business that we have of this council. We will reconvene in approximately 17 minutes. In the meantime, there are refreshments outside for you, and we thank you for coming. You are adjourned. You're all set. All right, if you could get everyone to take a seat, please, and get all the current and about to be sworn in council members to take their seats. All right, good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the November 11th, 2019, 8 p.m. Westminster City Council member meeting. At this time, we will proceed with the swearing in of our new council members. Ms. Seitz, if you and your family would go down front to the judge, I think she'll take care of the next piece of business.
But you can hear me because I'm loud enough. See, I don't have to use it. Hold on, I'm gonna try this one. Can you hear me with this one? Great. All right, good evening, everyone. Before I do the swearing in, I always have to say a couple of things because it's hard for me to just get up here and do business. First, obviously, to recognize, and I know we've said it before, but can you really say it enough? Happy Veterans Day, and for all those who have served. And I just want to challenge the mayor. I actually went to the best celebration today. It was at Jefferson Academy, where my 4 girls attend and my 4-year-old Hayden. And what was kind of cool about that is, as the presiding judge, I meet a lot of community members over at the court, most of which are traffic. And there was a gentleman who, really, none of you, right? There was a gentleman who came in on a traffic case, and after his case was done, we got to talking a little bit. I think it was the last case on the docket, and he had served in Vietnam, didn't have any children, and through that discussion, I said, you know, Jefferson Academy has a great celebration every year. You should come. So this year when she got 2 invitations, I mailed one to him, and guess who showed up today? That's exactly what I did. I know, it was very precious, so... anyway, well, it's an honor to do this for many reasons. You and I speak the same language with the imprint, because you really get that every decision you make, it is so thoughtful, it is so impactful, and you appreciate that it has a ripple effect. Internally, externally, you get that. And I can't thank you enough for your service that you have given us, that you are going to give us, and it's going to have a lot of navigation, and the service may look a little different. That's not bad. It's new, so it's making the most of what comes about. So thank you for your continued service, and congratulations. I do want to touch on the 2 brilliantly amazing council members who, at this moment, are still technically my bosses. And Sheila Mankey and Michelle Haney. I've had the pleasure and privilege of knowing them for 10 months, and the genuineness, the intelligence, the investment, the service has just been inspiring, humbling to work with. And I don't see your counterpart, but if she can hear my voice, thank you. Really, from the bottom of my heart, it's been an honor, it's been a privilege, and you will just continue to lift from here. Are you ready to be sworn in? I am. Okay. Do you want to introduce your family first?
I would.
Let's do it.
So this is my wonderful family that without their support, I would not be here. Directly to my left is Phoebe. She likes to go by B. My husband, Matt, my youngest, Katie, my son, Ian, and my mother, Dorothy. In this, for whatever reason, my brother's a little shy. He's sitting down. Derek, and my lovely and so kind sister-in-law, Mavi. So thank you all for coming and thank you for your support. I have my father-in-law who's literally on his knees trying to get a picture for me because he's that's great of a guy. And somewhere in here is my mother-in-law. I don't know where she is right now. There she is standing against the wall. My mother-in-law, Barbara, and my father-in-law, Neil. So thank you all for coming and supporting me.
It's really a family service, isn't it? Right?
They give a lot.
They do.
They give a lot. They're going to Disneyland on Wednesday, though. So
You earned it, didn't you? What about homework? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
We're going to try to do it this way. Hang on. I, Anita Seitz,
I, Anita Seitz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the constitutions
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the ordinances and city charter
and the ordinances and city charter
of the city of Westminster,
of the city of Westminster,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of city councilor upon which I'm about to enter.
Upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You'd think I'd remember.
It's only been 4 years. Mr. Seymour, if you would, please.
If I could get a good portion of the audience to come up, please.
Good evening.
We had to surprise you with coming up here.
How are you doing?
Shaking in my boots.
That's okay. There's worse things.
Yeah. I think so. I will introduce my family. How's
Well, I'm just, before we get into introducing your family, I won't do this every time. So as I was sitting here waiting, Chief Doug Hall gave my girls these little pads of paper, and they say on them, look, listen, and learn. And I thought, wow, that is really apropos in a lot of areas, right? So as a new counselor member, to look around the rest of the city and see what really is going on, right? And listen, all the listening that you did this afternoon or this evening about what the citizens of Westminster had to say, listening to your colleagues, to the staff, and how you can help solve those problems and learn. Impactful, I thought, right?
Very much.
What a journey you're about to go on as a big group too. Lots of support. This is
Need a lot of
exciting.
help.
Let's hear who they all are.
Well, first, my wife Shelley, my father Dick, my father-in-law Hank, my son Grant, my super secret weapon Peyton, our best campaigner, my mother-in-law Jan, my sister-in-law Leslie, my brother-in-law Dave, my daughter-in-law Kelsey, Sandy is back here, my dad's friend, my daughter Lauren, that was your name? Lauren, and her friend Steve. So.
Were you asking your daughter? Was that your name, Lauren? Is that?
Yeah.
Is that you over there? All right. Are you ready to be sworn in, sir?
Yes, I am.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I, Richard Seymour,
I, Richard Seymour,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the constitutions
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and the ordinances and city charter
and the ordinances and city charter
of the city of
of
Westminster,
the city of Westminster,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of City Councilor
of City Councilor
upon which I'm about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Smith, if you would, please.
Good evening. Do you have people joining you?
I do. I have the other half of
It's the other half.
Did you just come from Taekwondo? No? Karate? All right. So you and I haven't met yet either. I'm Tiffany Soros, your new employee. Welcome. It is, right? And that's privileged to meet you at the first time of your swearing in. And none of this can happen without all the individuals that step on this podium that say this oath, having a servant's heart. And I know you wouldn't have gone through the campaigning and the steps to get here, you and the family, if you didn't have that servant's heart. So I know we here at the organization of the city and the citizens out there very much appreciate that. So thank you. Would you like to introduce who's with you tonight? Sure.
So I have my partner, Terry, and then I believe that, since I don't have any kids, but I believe that family is not just blood. And so I have my family with me. I grew up with them, each and every one of them. I have my sister over here, Jackie, my great niece, Angel, and my best friend and her parents. So Selena, who I consider a sister, Rose and Jack Melcher, and then my mom's best friend, Fawn, who I consider an aunt, and then Nate, who is Selena's husband. So, but there's many more across the country that I would love to thank, and each and every one of you have helped and supported me. So you're like family. Even though I haven't met you yet, you supported me. So thank you.
You ready to be sworn in? Okay. I, Lindsay Smith,
I, Lindsay Smith,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the constitutions
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
and the ordinances and city charter
and the ordinances and city charter
of the city of Westminster,
of the city of Westminster,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of city councilor
of city councilor
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, for all of you who came to visit tonight, please say goodbye to the new council members, because you will not see them again on Monday nights, because they will always be here. So they can't get lost in most cases, but I will promise you that there are very few exceptions other than national holidays that we're not here. And on a rare occasion, we have a fifth Monday. If we didn't have to take a holiday that month, then they'll still be here. But to thank to all of you who participated in the process, whether you were fortunate enough to be elected or not, it's your opportunity to be a part of the process. And we do sincerely thank all of you that took part in that. If you did nothing more than vote, we still appreciate that. Whether you live in Colorado or you live across the country, one of the most important things you can do is be involved in your local community. Understand what's going on, because in my opinion, more gets done at the local level than we see at any state or federal level in the United States today. And more people understand what's going on in their community by serving in some capacity at the local level. If any of your Westminster residents, you have not signed up to be a volunteer in one of our boards and commissions, shame on you. We're taking applications at the back of the room. But please look at the boards and commissions. We are in the middle of a process for recruiting right now, so the opportunity for you to serve your community is there today. So please look at the website. If there's one that interests you, please fill out the application and apply. Next item on our agenda will be the selection of the Mayor Pro Tem. I'll turn it over to the City Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to pass out ballots to each council member. Everyone except for the mayor is eligible to be elected Mayor Pro Tem by a simple majority. We will run as many rounds as necessary until we reach one name with a majority of 4. On this first round, if you would please mark your choice, and then we'll pick up your ballot and announce the round's results. And the results after one round of voting are 3 votes for David DeMont, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. Since no one received a majority of 4, we'll pass out another round. And round 2 results are 3 votes for David DeMont, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. No one received a majority, so we'll pass out round 3. The results of round 3 of voting are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. And we will pass out another round. Round 4 is 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. And we'll pass out round 5.
While they're counting, just to let you know, we are prepared to go up to 10 rounds, and then after that, we will take a recess and see if we can come to a resolution if we have not reached one by 10. So just be patient. This is not Arapahoe County, by the way. We still can't pick a mayor.
The results of round 5 are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. The results of the 6th round of voting are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. And we'll pass out round 7. The results of round 7 are 3 votes for David DeMont, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. The results of round 8 are 3 votes for David DeMont, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. The results of round 9 are 3 votes for David DeMont, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. And we'll pass out round 10. And the results of round 10 are 3 votes for David DeMont, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. And Mr. Mayor, if I could request a brief recess to print more ballots.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for approximately 8:30, give or take a few seconds. So we are going to adjourn for at least 10 minutes. We'll print up some new ballots, and hopefully we can come to some reasonable resolution before the night's over. So at this time, we are on recess. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will come back to order, please. And we'll make another run at this. Ms. Parker?
The results of round 11 are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully.
All right, at this point, I'm going to ask each of the three, since we weren't able to resolve anything when we took our break, to provide a comment not only to the fellow council members, but the audience as to why they are seeking the position of Mayor Pro Tem. And then we'll take another round. So I will allow anybody who wants to go first or last or whatever. Ms. Scully?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I personally would like to be Mayor Pro Tem because I think that it's really important that our council be unified, that we have somebody in the position of Mayor Pro Tem that can work well with our mayor and who can really bring us all together. We'll be willing to really listen to everybody and meet with everybody and with an open heart and an open mind and try to make sure that we all work together. Unity is really important to me. So that's why I'm putting my name forward for Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Ms. Seitz or Mr. DeMott?
I'm running to continue holding the title of Mayor Pro Tem. I've served on this city council the longest of the 3 that are running for the title. I have served as Mayor Pro Tem. And as serving as Mayor Pro Tem, I think I've done a good job. I don't see any reason I would lose that job. The entire time I've been on council, I've always made sure that minority voices on council are heard, whether it was my former colleague Bruce Baker or whether it was my colleague Dave DeMott. I always made sure that they had someone that would listen to them, that made sure their voice was heard, and really considered what they were saying. I've been active in the community. I'm well known, and I think I do a good job representing the organization. And I want to continue to do that. I recently was the highest vote getter in an election we just had less than a week ago. I guess I don't see any reason why I would not want to continue to serve because I love this community and want to continue to serve it in the highest capacity I can.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things. I mean, if I listen to the reasoning of my colleagues, I could say that I represent change that was voted for. Yes, my colleague won the most votes, but the people who I supported, who are now sitting here on this dais, supported some change. They supported some different perspective from the community that we've heard from, that I've stood for the last 2 years. But the reality of that is I don't really think that that's why we should pick somebody to be Mayor Pro Tem. The reality of what Mayor Pro Tem is that you're a heartbeat away from being the mayor because, God forbid, something happened to him. You need to be able to step up and step into those shoes and be the mayor for the city, which is a very important job. I think that I've shown that, with my service, that I don't always go with one mindset. I'm always out for what's best for the residents of the city of Westminster. I think I've proved that with my service, the 3 elections that I ran. So I think that I would do a fine job. I understand the job and what it entails. I would add one other thing. I'm the only one out of the 3 candidates who's at some point has voted for the other 2 candidates for Mayor Pro Tem. When Maria DeCambra left her position so she could go work for the governor, we went through a similar process. In one round, I voted for Catherine Scully. In one round, I voted for Anita Sites because at that point, that was the best option for the city. But sometimes those things change.
All right, Ms. Parker, will you pass out the ballot?
Round 12, 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully.
All right, guys, we're going to finish up until we hit 10 again, and then we're going to consider a motion that would continue the meeting from tonight. However, normally we would continue to tomorrow night, but that is not an option, as at least one of our council members is out of town starting tomorrow morning. If we continue this meeting, it will continue until Monday of next week, and it must start with this piece of business. So until we get this set aside, we cannot move on to the next order of business in the council. So this is a thing that's going to get decided, I hope, tonight.
The results of round 13 are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. The results of round 14 are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. The results of round 15 are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. The results of round 16 are 3 votes for David DeMott, 2 votes for Anita Seitz, and 2 votes for Catherine Scully. And the results of round 17 are a majority of 4 for Anita Seitz and 3 for Dave DeMott.
Your Honor, if you still have your robe with you, please. Ms. Seitz, if you'll go down, please.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I, Anita Seitz,
I, Anita Seitz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the constitutions of the United States
the constitutions of the United States
and of the state of Colorado
and of the state of Colorado
and the ordinances and city charter
and the ordinances and city charter
of the city of Westminster,
of the city of Westminster,
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of Mayor Pro Tem
of Mayor Pro Tem
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, just to make sure we don't miss any protocol, the only piece I'm going to move to is for public comment at this time. Is anyone who has an item they'd like to bring forward? And since we didn't have a sign-up sheet, would you please identify yourselves?
Address 11167 West 104th Drive, Westminster. Well, congratulations for the new council members. As you guys know, I'm Kevin, represent Friends of Stanley Lake here on behalf of Stanley Lake, and I've missed a few weeks. I coach my kids' ice hockey team, and that's on Mondays. And today's also Veterans Day, and I missed out on meeting up with a lot of my Marine Corps buddies just to show that the returning trailered boating at Stanley Lake is equally as important as all those things. And I'll take time out of my time to speak on that behalf whenever I can and every chance. We thought after the boating season was over, that things would kind of move a little faster now that the rangers and people involved didn't have to deal with the open of the lake, and it's actually going slower. We've had less meetings and just less kind of all around on getting somewhere. We're still waiting on, we've submitted some new tagging systems and some new cables, and we even have backup cables, and we're just waiting. It's a very slow process, and we feel it doesn't need to be. We've done the vetting, and they have not shown us a successful tampered tag that we have not been able to see with our naked eye that has been tampered yet. And every tag that they say is successful has disappeared. They don't bring it, but they say it's hacked. So getting a little frustrating. So we're hoping we can get some momentum before the end of the month, maybe the end of the year, so we can get this season rolling, get some permits sold, and get some revenue back for the city. Thanks, guys.
Any other comments? All right, move on to the council. Does the council have any comments? All right, seeing none. Mr. Tripp, anything from you?
Mayor, I'll be very brief. I'd like to welcome the new councilors, Lindsay Smith and Rich Seymour. Congratulations on your races and the effort you put into getting on the city council. And I know this wasn't your first go around, so we know that you have a real commitment to this. And I've seen you at a lot of events and activities over the years, and had a chance to meet both Rich and Lindsay. Of course, I knew them before, but we had a great discussion this last week, and I appreciate you joining the council and Mayor Pro Tem Sites. It's going to be a pleasure to continue to work with you. I want all of you to know, and the other existing council members, we're here to serve you. We are, I think, can be a big help to you, and we'll try to be that in every way, shape, and form. Thank you.
All right, there being no other business before the council tonight, at this point, we are adjourned.